Okay, it's online now. Hello, everybody. Thanks for coming to this office hour through the Hangout. And this is our 8th office hour. And I think we have successful, went into the second session of the course, which is about the backend analysis since last week. And at the same time, we have finished the project 1, and some of them have some latent submissions, but it's fine. We'll accept it. And hopefully you're doing well for the project 1. And we will release the project 2 as soon as possible, maybe in about 1 week or 2 weeks. And the project 2 is completely about the backend of the compiler, including some code generations. So for the code generation, we need to do something about register allocation. And in terms of this, we need to learn some concepts about actually related to data flow analysis, especially depth use chain and then the log ranges of a variable. So this is the second part of the course. And at the same time, I have seen some messages about the grouping information for the project 2. Actually, the workload for project 2 is a little bit higher than the project 1. I mean, it's a little bit difficult if you especially in terms of the implementation and the concept. So we highly recommend it to do the project 2 with 2 people per team. And some of you claim they do the project by themselves. I think it is acceptable by professor and by us, but still persuade you to do the project with 2 people. That would be easier for both of you. So that is all from my side, and the professor will be a little bit late, maybe in 10 minutes. So if you have any questions, you can leave it here. I mean, you can leave the message in the group chat. So hopefully you're doing well on the project 1. By the way, I will try to finish the grading for project 1 as soon as possible, maybe by the end of next week, so you can know your implementation details for the project. I think normally I don't worry about projects, because if it is works, normally it is very we don't lose that much points. So based on my previous experience, most of students would do well on project, especially for project.
Hello, guys. Yuang and
hi, Professor.
Ciao. Sorry.
Yes.
Blanking out a little bit. So welcome to the Hangout. Sorry, I had to join a little late because of prior event running a little later. And I can see that there's also Paul here. Paul, welcome to the Hangout again.
Thank you.
And I guess one of the things that I would like to do is talk a little bit about some announcements and then get going and take some questions. So I hope the project phase 1 went well and you're ready for phase 2. We have given the phase 2. which is quite interesting. And because it's slightly shorter amount of time, we have asked you to do it in teams of 2. So hopefully you found your partner. But if you'd like to do it yourself, solo, that's perfectly fine. Just let us know. And but we need to get everybody settled into teams or their solo team. That way we will know everybody is ready to start the phase 2. The phase 2 consists of the IR being converted into the MIPS code. So there are several, again, stages here. They're simpler than you might think, but some of them are a little bit more complex. So let's start with the simplest one. The simplest one is the instruction selection phase. So there is pretty much one-to-one correspondence between the instruction selection and the IR. So what we suggest you to do is first take the IR, take some very simple instructions for implementing maybe just arithmetic and so on, and convert them into MIPS code. Just do the conversion, the translation, put in a little bit of initialization that we need to get the MIPS code running on the SPIM simulator. For that, you can just quickly read about the SPIM simulator and look at some examples that we pointed you to. So they are very simple preamble to set up the virtual machine, which is SPIM, emulation machine here or simulation machine, and get that going. Simple instruction, arithmetic instructions. Then you can do a little bit more complex stuff like branch control flow and so on, and then keep adding features and just get the native code working. What is the naive code working? That means no register allocation is done. Every operand is loaded from memory and stored back into the memory. Get that kind of code running. And then slowly do the second part that we are asking you to do, which is a little complex. Implement the register allocation, which is graph coloring based. For that, there are sub-steps. You have to do some analysis, the liveness, then generate the webs, and then do the register allocation implementing the Briggs algorithm. So there are 3 steps here. They're not difficult. We have gone through these topics in details on the videos, through some simple examples. You may want to, in fact, take those examples and make them run with that algorithm and test it out, again, in a simple manner. And we also given you homework to practice these concepts on paper and pencil in terms of liveness analysis. So hopefully you'll understand it thoroughly, and then coding of it is not complicated based on the IR, and generating the webs, and then doing the graph coloring and giving it a register as per the Briggs algorithm. Do that. And so what will happen is you would have the naive code working, as I mentioned previously, and then you would just put in the register allocator on the IR, convert the IR symbols into register symbols. Once the allocation of those symbols are done, for example, if a variable A is given register R0, then you would replace it in the IR and so on. And then, of course, there will be load stores which will be needed. For those who are not getting a register, spill code, and also initially you'll have to load certain values from memory. So you would leave those load stores intact. The rest will become register-oriented instructions. So you will just regenerate those instructions using register names, and voila, your code should be working. So that is what it is. Roughly in terms of time allocation, you should quickly finish off the instruction selection and naive code generation quickly, and then devote a bulk of time towards register allocation, and then its integration with the instruction selection to do the final code generation. So that's a suggestion. And I guess anytime you run into a difficulty of concepts or anything, don't keep it up to yourself. Try to look it up using our lectures and maybe the book material. These concepts are very straight and very good in terms of what they really mean, and they should be fairly easy to understand, and shouldn't be a difficult thing, but at the same time it is a bit of work to implement it and engineer it and make sure it has no bugs. And then it does register allocation per graph coloring. So all this will take some time, so give a good chunk of time for that. That's all I have in terms of the two different announcements. We'll have one last homework, which will be assigned as per the pacing schedule a little later. That's about it in terms of what is the remaining amount of work in the semester. And then, of course, we'll have the final exam, which is a little too early to talk about. That's bulk of it. I guess before we take questions, Chao and Yu-Hong, do you have any announcements or anything to clarify?
Yeah, no anything from me.
Oh, sorry,
Hello?
I muted myself.
Yeah.
I've done with my side, so it's fine.
Okay. Yu-Hong, do you have any announcements?
Nope.
Okay. All right. I guess there were some regrade requests and so on. Yu-Hong has already talked to you individually and cleared it up. We use a rubric for each of the homeworks that we grade, and we follow it pretty uniformly. There could be mistakes, of course. We might have missed something. But so we will correct those in case there is such discrepancy. But obviously, it's not that we have uneven, that in one case we are penalizing more than others. So again, did we publish the grading rubric, Yu-Hong, or in the last one?
I didn't publish the rubrics, but for every homework I have detailed comments about the which part was wrong and why,
Right.
How much points were reduced for that specific mistake.
Thank you. So we'll also do one thing. We'll, from maybe the next one, we'll publish the rubric.
Okay.
And that way there won't be any feeling that we have taken off points for a particular student in a justifiable way. And it will help you to reduce the grading requests. But the good thing is you're given detailed comments, which are really useful, and that's, I think, invaluable to see what mistakes to correct next time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now do we have any questions from Paul, you, or anybody else who is on the Hangout, or any Piazza questions we should be visiting and so on?
No. What I just intend to do is to catch up on the lecture lessons, so that I can understand the theoretical background for phase 2 and also for the homework that you just assigned to us. So I intend to do that over the weekend and also early next week, part of it, so that I can get started immediately on phase 2. Currently, I'm just looking for a partner or someone to work with, and that's about it.
I see. That sounds good. Chao and Yu-Hong, can you help me find a partner, maybe through Piazza or something like that? Do you have any, you can specify requirements, Paul, in terms of time zones or whatever you want to look for in a partner, skill set, and we'll try to help you out to find a partner. Yes, if you pace through the videos and lectures and understand these concepts, like liveness, for example, then the control flow graph generation, liveness, all these things will really help you for the project and also for the homework. So do go over those, and if you have any questions or if something is not clear, let us know. And once you understand it, the coding of it is not going to be very intense, except for the register allocation where that might be a bit of work. So you can organize, the project properly by first going through this and splitting it into components, and then maybe you and your partner can split it up. So that's probably a good way to do it. And try to get the naive code working first. That will help you to sort of get the baseline done, and then slowly you can improve it in terms of better register allocation. So that is a suggestion.
Okay.
And that will also help you to do a good design, because your design should be that you plug in the register allocator and you change the names, the symbols to register names, and voila, it should get going, mostly with some small changes.
Okay. So I made a request on post, I think it was 419. Let me just, yeah, so I just stated, no, 134, post 134. So I just stated I need somebody who is conversant also with Java, and I can actually work with EST deadlines, so that's not an issue. That's it. So someone with a Java skill set, and also I can work with EST deadlines, even though I'm 8 time zones east of Atlanta.
Right. Okay, sounds good. Do you have any pending requests, Chao or Yuhong, in terms of partners? Somebody looking for partners?
Yes.
Yeah, there are several posts in Piazza, but
Galen Weber is looking for
yeah,
team member too. And many of them are just want to do the project for solo. And yes, I think if you don't mind, you can contact with Galen Weber for some information. I can forward his email to you.
So are these posts open to everybody to see, or they're?
This post is private. Some is private and some is public.
Okay.
Yeah, should we open a new, maybe a new thread so that everyone can put their own informations there, like the language they were using and the best working times, so that they may find a better match.
So, yeah, it's a good idea.
I thought that we already had a thread like that, no? For teaming?
I think it's good you make it official.
Yeah.
Yep.
So just tell them that use that thread to post so that everybody can see it right there. The teaming thread, I think there's a thread there or a topic which is teaming. If not, open one and ask them to put it there, and ask them to directly contact each other. That will work the easiest. And so Paul, maybe you can take a look at these posts which are going to come there, and that way you will be able to find it quicker. I think when I set it up, I had set up a teaming thread or teammate search, but if not, just go ahead and set one up.
Okay.
All right. Any other logistics or any other questions? And I hope once you pace over those materials, Paul, you can always bring them up in the next office hours, or even use the Piazza, and that way the timing is a little bit of a tricky business. Being the end of the semester, we are not going to be able to give any extensions, and so that's why we don't want any delays in getting people started on the project.
Understood.
Right.
Okay, I just created a thread for teaming issue.
Okay. All right, sounds good. Any other thing that we need to visit? Are there any other things that need clarification on the piazza or anything? Chow or Yuhong?
Yeah, I think everything's good so far.
Okay, good. So one thing is this, that they have a drop deadline on March 13th. So if we can return, so far what all we have returned?
So I have released the grades for homework 1 and homework 2.
Good.
Yeah, because the project 1 was just due.
Yeah.
It might be very tight for child to grade it. I can help if yeah, if we want to release it before the drop date.
How many submissions we have?
Around 20 or something.
23?
33?
23.
23. So I don't know. I leave it to you guys. Maybe at least convey to those who had a little bit of an issue on the project, not necessarily release the grades, but hold on a minute. So at least if somebody has done really poorly, just if you can flag, if you can convey that to them, that hey, this might be your grade, rather than releasing it across the board.
Okay. What's the deadline for the drop cards?
I think 13th.
It's next Wednesday.
Okay. Yeah, if anybody needs the grading before that date, please just ping me.
Yeah, so do an announcement. That's actually a good idea. That if anybody needs to really know how they did on the project, phase 1, they should just ping you and ask for your feedback. Okay.
Yes.
And when you give the feedback, tell them that it's not really a grade, but I just want to let you know since you asked. And the grade, once we have it, we'll host it. And then overall, students should decide. So whether they want to continue or not. Typically, this is how I suggest you guys decide it. You see, not just a project, but overall performance and understanding in the class, both the homeworks and the project, and more importantly, how you are understanding it. If you're finding it very difficult and kind of you're not ready for, you think that you are not really ready for the class, then drop it. Otherwise, to improve the grade, there are things, opportunities, or 2 homeworks, phase 2, and finals. So there is a lot of grade which is still remaining. Okay, so that is my general advice. But if you think your trajectory or direction or general understanding itself is a huge problem, then, and some of the students have already dropped. And if you want to get into specifics, then you can contact about project 1 to Chow. If you want to discuss overall issue of grading, you can discuss it with me by email. Do not post it on Piazza. Send me an email on the santosh@cc.gatech.edu. Yes, that's the address which is on the syllabus, santosh@cc.gatech.edu. So contact me there and we can discuss it. Thanks. Anything else, guys?
So far, so good.
I'm going to mute for some time and wait.
Okay, allow me to sign off from this Hangout. And hopefully we'll meet again next Friday.
Okay.
Okay, see you.
See you.
Okay, we will stop here today.
Bye.
Bye.